Welcome to Apprisen.com. Our webinar today is called Car Buying Considerations. Apprisen is a financial service organization whose mission is to help people improve their financial well-being through counseling, community outreach, and financial education. We are a 501c3 nonprofit corporation that's been in business for over 55 years. We've helped over 500,000 individuals and families learn to manage money, balance their budgets, and get out of debt. As part of our mission, Apprisen feels very strongly that getting and staying on track with your money is essential to one's success. So we've developed a 7-part educational series that includes workshops and webinars to help individuals better prepare their financial lives. There are 2 best times to buy. The end of December is a good time. Everyone's out buying Christmas gifts, leaving dealers' lots void of customers, motivating them to cut prices and break year-end sales records. Another good time to buy is July through October, as dealerships sell off cars at lower prices to clear space for the new models coming out of the factory. Secret factory-to-dealer incentives can be $1,000 to $6,000 in addition to known rebates. Because of these secret incentives, if you buy a car at invoice, the dealer earns thousands more. You should haggle over these incentives, as many dealers willingly give up all or part of these incentives, making your costs lower. Needs versus wants. Some things to think about are gas mileage, storage space, all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, interior space, engine size, and if it'll fit in your garage, your driveway, or your parking space. Remember, lots of cars lose value. Many vehicles can lose up to 35% of their resale value within the first year. Used cars continue to gradually lose value as time passes and mileage is added. But some cars lose value more quickly than others. If you intend on reselling the vehicle after a few years, make sure it's one of those that keeps its value relatively well. You don't want to be upside down owing more money on your auto loan than what your car is worth. Taxes and insurance also have to be considered. Even if you found the perfect vehicle at the perfect price, you still might not be able to afford the taxes and insurance associated with that vehicle. Be sure to call around to a few insurance companies and get a quote on the premiums you'll be paying. Also, contact your state's motor vehicle department to find out any estimated taxes you may be required to pay. Also, the cost of repairs needs to be figured in. Oftentimes, buying a used car can be a better deal than buying a new car. However, a used car may develop maintenance issues in a shorter period of time. It's important to check a vehicle history reporting service such as Carfax to find out the history of that car before you buy it. Another consideration for both new and used cars is the cost of servicing that car and using replacement parts. Need to consider the pros and cons of buying a used car. Used cars are usually lower in price. The car has already depreciated in value, and the insurance for that car might be much cheaper. The cons to buying a used car is it will always have wear and tear. The inside may not be as new as you like, and the lack of prestige that comes with buying a used car is also to be considered. Using a used car checklist is always good when looking for a car. Research the car model. What's it got in it? What's the maintenance history? What's the known problems? Use the internet over and over again to find details about those items. Have the car inspected by a trusted mechanic. Get the car's history based on the VIN number. That's the vehicle identification number. Most dealerships will give you a Carfax report which tells you the mechanical history as well as any accident history that goes along with it. Ask if there's any warranty available and what the cost of that warranty is as well. Leasing a car may be another way you can buy a car and buy a newer car for a less price. Many consumers choose to lease their vehicles for various reasons. They like to drive a new car every 2 or 3 years, or they use it for business and can take it as a tax write-off. However, there are some considerations to keep in mind before choosing this option. There are limits to how many miles you can drive the car during the year. If you exceed that limit, you'll often pay a large per-mile penalty when you turn the car in. There are also penalties if you turn the car in early or if there's damage outside of normal wear and tear. Finding the best loan is probably the most difficult part of car buying. Even before you know which vehicle you're going to buy, you can get a jump on the process by comparing interest rates and getting pre-approved for a loan. Then check with your bank or your credit union, as well as other local banks and lending institutions to compare rates. Focus on the annual percentage rate, the APR, and try to keep the loan length as short as possible, while still having an affordable monthly payment. A 4-year loan costs you far less overall than a 5 or 6-year loan at the same rate. Go online to the manufacturer's websites and check for any special financing rates. You may find that a model on your short list has a special lower interest rate available, but if so, call the dealership to make sure you qualify for it. Such incentives are often only available to buyers with high credit scores. One of the most effective ways to get a low price is to have dealers compete for your business. This can be done by emailing or calling several in your area or in neighboring towns. Tell them the exact model, trim level, and options you want, and ask for their lowest out-the-door price. The more quotes you get, the better. Make sure you've done a thorough test drive before initiating negotiations. You could also go to car buying websites and submit a request for a dealer quote, but be prepared to be on the contact list for several dealers for a while. Focus on the price. Don't discuss trade-in or financing terms at this point. Tell them you're just looking for a competitive price on a new car, and will work with a dealer that treats you the best. You can tell them you'd be willing to put down a credit card deposit over the phone if they can meet your target price. Never email your number. Some salespeople will try and get you to come to their showroom to discuss pricing, but many are now savvy enough to work with you electronically, which saves time for both you and them. Play match the price. If you want to whittle the price down further, recontact some dealers and ask where they can beat a competitor's price. This can be particularly useful if you prefer one dealership because of location or personal rapport, but another dealer has given you a lower price. If you settle on a price, have the dealer send you a detailed pricing breakdown. You'll need this when you go to the dealership to close the deal. It is extremely important to educate yourself about financing when you're shopping for a car. You must understand the loan is just another product the dealership is selling you. Don't be fooled into thinking that they are doing you some kind of favor so that you can drive off in a new car. It is in their best interest to charge you as high an APR as possible so they will make a good profit. Beware of the tricks that they will use to make you think you're getting a good deal when you really aren't. You can get better rates from different lending sources before you walk into the dealership. When you look for financing, compare the APR, the annual percentage rate, of several loan options that you may have. Know how much of a monthly payment you can afford to pay, and know your credit score. Never give a cash deposit. You can dispute a credit card charge if there's any issue. Online financing is another alternative you have to general bank financing. Online rates are usually lower than car dealers. They lock in your financing rate for up to 60 days, and you can apply for a maximum amount in advance so the final price of the vehicle won't matter. There are no hidden fees, points, or prepayment penalties in your online transaction. Let's look at some new car terms. ADM or ADP charges. Bogus charges added by greedy dealers. It means additional dealer markup or additional dealer profit, and appears on a sticker next to the manufacturer's MSRP sticker. ADM is an artificial buffer to bargain down the price. If ADM is $1,000 and you talk them down to $800, you still paid MSRP plus $200 for the car. If you see this, have them take it off. Advertising fees. Car makers charge dealers for regional and national advertising campaigns. These charges are reflected on the invoice and are legitimate costs of doing business. Many dealers are sticklers about this fee, and it's difficult to get them to drop it, but some do waive the fee. If a dealer adds on their own advertising fee above and beyond this, they're out of bounds. Dealers will try to charge you $250 to $1,000, but it should be no more than $250. This fee may also show up as a sales promotional fund, or DAA, or ADA, or anything referencing ads. Each dealer has a way to hide these fees for their own benefit. Honda ad fees are built into the invoice price, so don't let them charge you for extra. You get the picture. If it ends in an A, it's most likely an advertising fee. There's the dealer floor plan assistance fees, wholesale financial reserve, and dealer interest fees. Some dealers charge this fee, which you should not be paying for. Dealer floor plan interest is the interest the dealers pay for the loans to buy the cars on their lot. Usually the factory pays this as part of the holdback, itemized as a separate invoice item. Floor plan interest can cost $150 per month for each car. The factory gives the dealer 1 to 2 months of interest. The longer the car sits unsold on the lot, the more $150 interest checks the dealer has to pay. They want you to assist them in paying it, which is the factory's expense, not yours. Dealers know that we're onto them, so some have changed the name to a confusing term called wholesale financial reserves or dealer interest fee. And there's the dealer prep. Dealer prep covers their cost of removing plastic films on the seats, vacuuming the car, and preparing it for sale. Often it's permanently printed on the buyer's form to make you think it's mandatory, but you can usually make the dealer drop it by adding a credit to the next line. If they refuse to remove it, just walk away. Tell them you want to see the other local dealers, and if they'll drop that fee. Then there's the destination charge. Dealers pay a destination charge to have cars delivered on auto transport trucks. This is one of the few legitimate fees. Verify the amount with the online pricing sites before you go to buy. Documentation fees, expenses like registration, tags, title, and other state fees. Determine these fees your state charges before you go shopping. Call the Department of Motor Vehicles to determine the cost of registering a new car and getting the tags if necessary. It may be cheaper to transfer the tag from your old car to the new one. And you thought you were done with new car terms. There's also a drive-off deposit, a bogus fee that the greediest dealers pile on customers. The purpose of this fee is to steal your rebate from you. What does drive-off deposit mean? Nothing. It's a meaningless term. If you see a drive-off deposit on the worksheet, just drive off. No deposit. There's the window and VIN number etching fee, a fee for etching the VIN or other anti-theft information into your side windows. It costs next to nothing for the dealer to do it, and the average fee is about $300. You can buy the same kit in an auto parts store for $20 and do it yourself. The factory holdback. U.S. automakers pay dealers a factory holdback of 3% of MSRP on every car sold. It's called holdback because the factory holds back money from the dealer until they sell the car. This is accounted for by charging the dealer for holdback on the invoice, paying them back when the car is sold. On a $30,000 car, the holdback is $900. This appears to you and me as though the dealer paid $900 more for the car than he did. This is done by the factory as a means to compensate dealers for interest on loans that they take out to buy the cars from the factory, and also to provide some profit for the dealer. The holdback is included in every invoice price. This is how dealers can sell you a car at invoice, because the factory refunds them the holdback once the car is sold. They can sell you the $30,000 car at invoice, and they have a $900 positive cash flow. Many people don't know holdback exists, including many car salesmen, as this goes directly to the dealer, and it effectively reduces the dealer's cost of the car. Many dealers deny its existence or tell the customer it's a dealer's expense. It's the factory's expense once the car is sold. If any dealer tries to itemize you separately for a holdback, leave immediately. You'll surely be subject to many more unscrupulous tricks. Don't let a dealer tell you there's no holdback. It's the business model. The whole industry is structured on it. Many good car dealers list holdbacks on the websites. Then there's the port prep fee, or the port installed options, the PIO. These are fees for prep and options installed at the port of entry by the manufacturer. For example, Toyota has a port installed option added to the cars once they land in Florida called ToyoGuard, an extremely overpriced rubberized coating sprayed inside your wheel wells to prevent rust. This can add up to $600 to the cost of your new Toyota. Some port prep fees might be only $25. These fees vary by manufacturer and port entry registrations. Then there's the registration fees. That's a tough one to determine. Each state is different. There may be also a small tire and battery fee of around $10 levied by the state. Some states charge hundreds, so check with your DMV before going shopping. Print out the DMV fees online and bring them to the dealer. Quite often the dealer charges up to $400 for document fees, supposedly to handle paperwork to transfer your plates. Let's look at some negotiating strategies. Don't negotiate based on monthly payment. You must negotiate the price first, then the financing. Be especially careful when a 0% APR deal is going on. Stay focused on the price. Don't be an impulsive buyer. You can always buy tomorrow or a week from now. Take your time. Good things come to those who wait. Complete the negotiation quickly. Try to complete the negotiation in a half an hour. Much longer than that, and it isn't worth the salesperson's time to give you the best deal, since they will end up with as little as a $50 commission. Set a timer for 30 minutes. Tell them if the deal isn't agreed upon, when it goes off, you're leaving. Negotiate up from the dealer's cost, down from the MSRP. Remember that the invoice price is not the dealer's cost. Once you make your offer, don't budge. If you offered a 3% profit, you can come up to 5%. Don't agree to split the difference. You never should end up more than a few $100s over your fair offer. Never negotiate on an empty stomach. Before you go to negotiate, eat a good meal. Make sure you're rested and dressed comfortably, but nicely. Do not go car shopping if you're sick, have a fever or a headache. You want to be able to be at the top of your game. Bring another person with you. Having a second person on your side keeps the salesperson from being able to intimidate you. Strategically, your partner should be a doubting Thomas, a devil's advocate, constantly pointing out negative parts of the deal, trying to talk you out of it, saying you should go back to the other dealer. The power of walking out if you aren't satisfied with any way the negotiation is headed, then just get up and leave. This is the power that you have, and it will panic them once they see that you're serious. You might be halfway to your car when they stop you with a better offer. Never give a deposit unless you've agreed upon everything and are buying the car. There's no reason to give any money. It does not show that the offer is serious. All it does is let them hold your money hostage. If you're ordering from the factory, then a deposit is proper once the deal is signed. Let's look at some of the dealer tricks or incentives the dealers have put in place to hide some things from you. First thing we want to talk about is the hidden rebate. We see this tactic at dealers and in newspaper ads. They list the price that is less than the MSRP, making you think it's a good deal. Unfortunately, the prices include the rebate. Any rebate should be subtracted after you negotiate the price. Do not let them include the rebate in their asking price. Then there's the turnover or the TO scam. They keep switching salespeople to work on you and wear you down. It's harassment and it's a waste of time. They have no intention of working with you and they just want to tire you out. Put a stop to this right away. Tell them you're onto the scam and you're walking out if they keep switching. No haggle usually means no bargain. Many dealers use no haggle pricing to make you think you're getting a good deal. People think these dealers will never negotiate. However, you still hold the power because you can just get up and leave. Sometimes the price at these dealerships will not be good, but if there are no haggle prices and it's more than 5% over dealer costs, then it's not a good deal and it's time to haggle or go somewhere else. Beware of eavesdropping. Don't discuss anything privately if they leave you alone in the office. They could have set the phone to intercom mode, and now the salesman and his boss are listening to every word you say. Then there's the sales tally board. Dealers display the tally board or point out your salesperson's totals to condition you to buy. They want you to think they're giving you good deals because there are so many cars to sell. And yes, believe it or not, dealerships do have scams. We'll pay off your car no matter how much you owe. It's a great scam. If you're upside down on your car loan, you still owe $10,000. The dealer pays off your loan. Then you buy that $10,000 from the dealer. This gets you financed along with the $15,000 car you're buying. Now you're financing two cars for $25,000. Oftentimes your payments are spread out over 60 to 72 months, so you don't notice what's just happened. To avoid this, never trade in a car that you still have a loan on. Try to sell it on your own first. A better definition here is excessive charge, since this is not really a fraud, nor is it illegal. Most dealers do adequately disclose this fee on their paperwork. Many dealers even admit that it's a way for them to recover some of their losses when they're discounting the car off MSRP. Dealer prep covers the cost of removing plastics from the seats, vacuuming, adding fluids, and preparing it for sale. MSRP sticker shows these costs are covered by the car maker, so why does the dealer still charge you? To avoid this, point out that the car maker covered these costs and to give you a credit for that amount. Now there's the financing fell through or the spot delivery scam. It starts when you buy a new car and the manager congratulates you because you got a low APR on your car loan. They hand you the keys and you drive home. Usually about 2 weeks later the dealer calls you saying, sorry, your car loan application was rejected and you didn't qualify for the low interest rate after all. This is where the subject to financing clauses on your contract bites come into play. Just because you signed the papers doesn't mean it's a done deal. The finance manager knew exactly what you qualified for when you signed the deal. They call this the spot delivery scam because you took delivery of your new vehicle using the on-the-spot financing. This really means you drove off with the car before financing was complete. There's no excuse for your financing to fall through because the car dealer knew what your credit score was when you were sitting in the finance office completing the deal. This is a complicated legal verbiage on most car dealer sales contracts stating subject to loan approval. This loaded statement means the deal is not final even though you signed this contract. They will tell you that you need to come back in with an additional $1,000 or more, and now your monthly payments will go up because of your new higher APR. Dealers easily pull this scam on people with bad credit because they've been getting rejected when they apply for credit at the other car dealers or creditors. The dealers know that you have driven the car for 2 weeks. They know you own it and will do anything to protect that ownership. To avoid this, especially if you have bad credit, get your loan approved beforehand. You're ready to sign the papers when the manager says you must buy a $2,000 extended warranty because the bank requires it or you won't get the loan. Some dealers who quote monthly payments don't even tell you that you're buying a warranty. They give you the impression that it's included. Some finance managers start playing games with the APR if you buy the extended warranty. Some claim the APR goes up if you don't buy the warranty. Interest rates don't have anything to do with a warranty. The only thing that determines the APR you will pay is your very own personal FICO credit score. Nothing else, nothing whatsoever. Not the cost of the car, not buying a warranty. To avoid this, have them put it in writing that the warranty is required to be approved for your loan, so you can show it to your state attorney and the Better Business Bureau. This scam works on people with bad credit, and they also require you to buy credit life insurance or your APR will go up. Trade-ins. Before you consider trading in your car at the dealership, know what it's worth. To get a general idea, you can go to Edmunds.com or Autotrader.com to establish a reasonable price. But it's always a good idea to negotiate a deal on a new car first and treat the trade-in as a separate transaction. If they are not offering you an acceptable price, you can always go to another dealer or sell the car yourself. A common dealer tactic is to give you a token discount on a new car, then make up for it by giving you less for your trade-in. You can avoid this by knowing the value of your current car before you go shopping. This depends on its age, mileage, condition, trim level, options, and the area you live in. When you're ready to sell your car or trade it in, make sure it looks the best it can look. Clean the car thoroughly. Sprinkle the floor with baking soda and then vacuum it up to get rid of the odors. Replace the floor mats if necessary, and make sure your windshield wipers are in good condition. Make sure your lights are working and you've cleaned them off so they're bright. Top off your fluids. Treat your tires so they're nice and shiny. Gather your records, clean out your glove compartment, and get ready to sell your car. Sometimes things happen and you just can't get that payment in on time, or you find yourself falling behind. If that happens, contact your lender as soon as possible. Be honest about the situation and why you aren't able to make the payment. If you've been a good customer and made your payments on time in the past, your lender may be willing to defer a payment or allow you to keep the car. If you can reach an agreement to change your original contract, get those new terms in writing. Don't wait until your loan has been turned over to a debt collector. By then, your lender has given up on you, and it's too late to negotiate. You can look at refinancing. You may be able to negotiate a lower interest rate or spread out the payments over a longer period of time, resulting in lower payments. The downside to longer-term loan is that you'll be paying more interest. Compare loans from your current lender and others. Sell the car to pay off the loan. Determine how much you owe on the vehicle, then check its market value. If you owe less than the car is worth, sell it and use the cash to clear your debt. Before selling, review your financing agreement to see if the lender charges prepayment penalties for paying off your loan early. Look for ways to save more money. Are you positive you can't make your payment? You may be able to cut household expenses by eliminating other services you don't need. You might qualify for assistance programs to help cover groceries, utilities, or prescription drugs and free up extra money. Even if you return the car voluntarily, you still are responsible for paying an outstanding debt on the loan, as well as the lender's cost of the repo, and your creditors still may enter the late payments or repossession on your credit report. Here are some other resources you can use to find out how much your car is worth, the value of the car you're buying, and other important items you need to know about when buying a car. For more information about managing your personal finances, contact Apprisen at 1-800-355-2227 or look us up on the website at www.apprisen.com. We do like you to follow us on Twitter, Google, and LinkedIn, and like us on Facebook. Thank you for attending today's webinar.